Hey y'all, the energy of tonight is very interesting. Um, I have been through it the last few days. I've been going through an ordeal behind the scenes, and it has been very fascinating. So that's kind of the reason I get allergies at this time of year, and the energy is just very generally kind of like shifting and changing. Like I feel a lot of third eye blocks being cleared, and tea. Tea is happening, but I want to get y'all a reading because I feel like something's coming through here. I feel inspired. I feel called. I took some cards out today and I put them in a stack. So I feel called to kind of pull them in order. So we're going to start with the Citadel. Let's start with the Citadel and see what wants to come through. Oh, y'all. We're almost in September. How are we almost in September? That is wild. That is wild. It feels like just yesterday I was starting to do these readings, and now it's like a regular schmegular thing for me to come on here and say hey to y'all, and it just feels like it's such a good flow. So thanks for being here. Thanks for everybody who's joined the channel, for all your donations, all your comments, all your love. It really, really does help to grow things and to spread the love. Personal readings are also available at the link in my bio. Ooh, okay, we have the Adventurer, Responsibility, Expectations with the volcano. Didn't we just have a reading about a volcano like a couple days ago here? And with the moon. Interesting, okay. Continue. I want more, I want more, I want more. I did see the Witch reverse though there, so that could be significant. What wants to come through? This one. The Wise One, Tradition and Order reverse. Okay, interesting. This is kind of similar to the Witch. The Founder, Foundations and Community. Okay. I'm going to pull the tarot out behind it just so we have it ready to go. Locked and Loaded. Ooh, that could be something you relate to. Maybe there's something that you feel like you've been preparing for, or you've been planning for, you've been stockpiling for. It's given like doomsday prepper vibes. Maybe that's what you're doing. But more so like for an adventure. Maybe you've been stockpiling, maybe you've been saving up, maybe you've been putting things in place for a while that have to come in a certain order, or you have a certain order. We are in Virgo season. So yeah, this is kind of the energy of this season is being meticulously planned out and sort of going over things, having order, having systems. So yeah, whatever that could be for you, interesting. Drop it in the comments below. I know that's definitely been a relevant energy for me. But the Wise One, reverse here, interesting. Tradition and order, responsibility, expectations. The Founder, Foundations and Community. I'm so drawn to this volcano. And what I'm also drawn to is the moon and the night sky here. What this is giving is kind of similar to this energy I've been feeling of like the dark feminine, or like a sacred rage kind of rising up and bubbling up. Or like there's this tension bubbling and building under the surface of something going on here. Nighttime is the time of intuition, the time of the feminine, the time of the unknown. I actually feel very called to read and do messages at night for that reason, because this time, I'm doing this at night right now, really is a time of calm and peacefulness and serenity, and I'm able to access, and I feel like a lot of people are able to access their deeper subconscious mind during this time. So you could relate to me, the adventurer, maybe being an adventurer of the subconscious, of the shadow realm. I get that, definitely. Okay, yeah, 100%. Somebody, well, not just somebody, I feel like a lot of you are very comfortable or have been on some kind of grand adventure through like the shadows, your own subterranean forest, your own subconscious mind. And I feel like you've awakened this dark feminine power within yourself. And when I say dark feminine, what I'm referring to is like feminine, the parts of femininity that have been collectively suppressed in humanity and in us as individuals for that reason. So feminine traits such as, you know, having authority over oneself, raw emotional expression, what I said, sacred rage, a feeling of boundary, a feeling of indignation at the indignance at the state of the world, at the state of, you know, the mistreatment of the feminine in a lot of ways. So I think of archetypes like Kali and like Persephone, you know, these goddesses, these beings who are considered Lilith, these beings who are considered to be kind of intimidating and can somewhat be considered maybe evil, but really what it is it's just an embodiment of a part of the feminine that most are just not comfortable with, and most just don't see expressed because we're afraid of it, because it has a lot of power. But I feel you've really adventured into this. Responsibility and expectations. It's almost like I want to say you've defied responsibility and expectations here. Like you've really, like I just said, gone your own way into a place that's pretty taboo, I would say, for a lot of the population to explore this. You know, there was a time when I was living in my own house, because I wouldn't be able to do it here. I'm in my family. I live with my family, so I wouldn't be able to do it here so much. But when I lived in my own house, I would have like these sacred rage fests in my basement sometimes, and I would be able to really, truly, fully access the rage of my ancestors and my own inner feminine. And I was able to unleash that fully. And there's something so primal, something so raw, something so empowering about being able to feel it in its fullness and express it in its fullness in a place that is just yours, where no one else is going to interrupt it or be affected by it. And I learned a lot about myself in those times. I had a few of those moments. Interestingly, it was also during Aquarius season, which rules my 4th house, so the underworld of the chart. So maybe that could be significant to you. If look at like what sign rules your 4th house, and maybe that could be a significant time to explore that. But yeah, this is kind of the vibe I get here from this card, the adventurer. You are like an adventurer, not necessarily of the external world, although you might relate to that as well, but you're an adventurer of the internal world. And I feel the depths you've gone to are places that are very intimidating for a lot of people. And I feel like with the wise one reverse here, tradition and order, I feel like on the surface, you might be somebody who gives this off, like the wise one, tradition and order, but people don't see that like underneath here, reversed, right? Like people, it's almost like, I wanted to say the mask that you wear, but it's not even a mask. It just is your natural sort of like light persona is what I want to say. Like you have this like underworld, this dark feminine power to you, and you're able to go into the shadow realm and really see it for what it is and explore it and integrate it. But the confirmation burp coming through here. The burps, they always start during these readings. Like I won't burp all day, y'all. And then all of a sudden, I'll start burping when I'm talking in a reading. I actually find that they happen too when I'm like in a conversation with someone and I say something that feels really true. It'll happen. And anyway, in real life, like this is real life. Outside these videos, I have like the urge to say like, oh, confirmation burp, like just in the middle of a conversation with a stranger. And there's like, what? Like, sorry, that's for the YouTube community. Anyway, I digress. Your surface personality, right? Like that kind of ties into it. I feel like your surface personality that people see might embody that. Like you kind of come across as this like wise, wizardy elder, somebody who just comes across as maybe even a little bit like spiritually kooky, and people are just like, oh yeah, that's collective over there. They're chill, they're cool, they've got spiritual vibes, they got witchy vibes, or they're kind of magical, or maybe people don't necessarily see you as like spiritual witchy, but just wherever you are and in whatever profession you're in and whatever setting you're in your daily life, I feel like people really see you as the wise one. It's like you give off this sense of like calm presence, like the old owl, the old elder, regardless of your age. but like underneath that, there is like a volcano. And I feel like people might see it in your eyes even. People might see in your eyes that this is under the surface, but people have to be perceptive to know what this is. And if they've never met themselves at that depth, then they might have a hard time understanding what this is in you, you know. The real ones, the people who've gone to those very real depths within themselves, when they see it in you, they'll recognize it. Or if someone's ready to venture into that territory, they will be open to understanding what that is within you. But I feel like most people, a lot of people that you come across, probably don't know what that is, and maybe they feel triggered by you. Maybe they feel intimidated. Maybe they feel like, the feeling I'm getting is this, it's this queasiness in the gut. Like I feel people might get this sort of like eeriness. It's an eeriness, I think, that people might get around you, where you feel so calm and serene, but there's such an intense depth to you that people get this like eerie feeling. And it's almost like if they're not comfortable with their own depths, they have a hard time being in your energy field for very long. Or you get people who might want to use that, or have used that in the past. But I think that now that you're autonomous here, because I think you have a lot of autonomy, with the founder on the bottom of the deck, I feel like you're very like grounded in this now, and like this has been very integrated. I feel people don't really want to mess with you. I feel people don't want to mess with you, collective. Like, yeah, you've built, like, I get this. This is also the feeling, like you've built a city. Okay, yeah. The catalyst, radical changes and taking control, just came out under this. So yeah, you have built, like, you've really built a foundation for yourself is what I'm getting. Even if it doesn't necessarily show like a big city or empire on the outside, you just give off stable. You give off grounded. You give off like, I am the foundation. I create and decide like where I go and what I do and who my community is and what I create. And this vibe, it's scary to people, I feel like. Like you're kind of scary. Collective, you're kind of scary, but in the best way. And I feel like a lot of you are probably laughing along with me, like, yeah, I know, I'm scary. Like it's an endearing thing. It's like, you're scary because you're real. You're scary because you're real. And a lot of people are scared of real. And a lot of people, I think they know what real is conceptually. And, you know, we have this society right now that loves manufactured authenticity. We love to be talking about authenticity here, authenticity there. Just be authentic. But it's almost become like this buzzword where people just use it and don't actually like think of the meaning behind it. But authenticity, real, true authenticity is felt. And it's felt at like a deep, deep level. So when you feel authenticity in another person, and when that authenticity, you know, sort of treads on a place that's dark or shadowy or taboo, right? Those like Lilith, Persephone, Kali sort of archetypes, when that is authentically within somebody and it's taboo, it kind of causes this recipe for somebody that people tread lightly around. And I feel you are one of those people, not because they tread lightly because you are somebody who would do anything out of malice, but just because by your nature, you just give off like unpredictable, empowered queen, regardless of gender, right? Like, you know, that side of yourself. And I feel this is one of your greatest roles for coming to this planet at this time, and why you're here is because you're meant to be the catalyst, like I just saw, underneath this firm foundation, like even deeper in your foundation, in your soul signature, like in your DNA and in your ancestry even. You are meant to be like a walking destroyer is what I just got. Like, you are meant to be a walking trigger, a walking destroyer, a walking like almost contradiction for people. You're meant to like wake people up. And I feel like the way you wake people up is not pretty. Like Spirit, this message, listen, I'm just the messenger here. The way you wake people up is not pretty. And the reason for that is because, like I said before, you may attract people into your life who feel like they want to dominate you or have power over you. And because you attract those people for a reason. You may have not understood why before. You may have thought, why do I attract all these people, or all these people that are like narcissistic, all these people who are like just like the worst kind of people who have control issues and who just want authority and domination. The reason you attract this is because, like I said, you embody the dark feminine. And to those kinds of energies, that is like a challenge. That's a challenge to them that they think they're ready for. But spirit humbles people through you, I feel like people shows people what am I saying? People shows people. Spirit shows people the power of the dark feminine through you. Like the dark feminine is like a hurricane. When I think of the dark feminine and the destructive force that the dark feminine can have, it's like a hurricane. It's like a volcano. It's not like, and the great forces of nature that cause some of the greatest destruction. But when we think of the greatest destruction, what precedes destruction? Usually what precedes destruction is a buildup of a lot of tension, so a lot of emotion, right? Or a lot of contraction, aka being controlled, being mistreated, and then the emotion explodes in nature, right? The magma explodes, it erupts, the hurricane picks up speed, and destroys everything in its path. But everything that's destroyed is cleared for something new to emerge. And this is one of the great truths of the dark feminine, is she's very destructive. I think of the Kali archetype, very destructive. But it only happens when it's absolutely necessary. So that's kind of the extreme of it. I kind of took you to the extreme first, just so that you know your power here. You have the power to be like a force of nature like that, like a hurricane, a volcano. And for anybody who tries you, anybody who tries to come against you or tries to dominate or challenge you, like in a way that's not balanced, not, in line with what we know as universal laws of balance, right? Then they're gonna see what that means. You're walking karma. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. Like, you feel like walking karma for people who see their darkness like reflected back in you, but don't want to face it themselves. Such an interesting image I'm getting. It's almost like, when people say, in the spiritual communities and stuff, it's like you're a mirror of light for people. You embody the light. People see the light and they're really inspired by you. I feel like you're almost like an inverted mirror as well. Like, I think you hold light, but you also are like a mirror that holds like the darkness as well. I think you're a mirror of darkness. Like, you have this incredible capacity to hold darkness, or what we would consider to be the dark aspects of humanity, the ones that we're afraid of, the ones we consider, bad, dark, evil. This is like quite an advanced role to take on as well for you, because this is not just something that can be really handled lightly. Like, this is a very intense sacred role. It's very, very plutonic, very scorpionic. Again, like I said, 4th house, 8th house, like deep water signs. You're a force of nature. That's what I'm getting here. You are a force of nature. And people don't want to mess with you. And like at the same time, it's like you're not just necessarily this big, scary brute force either. I'm saying all that because I think you know that and you sense that. But you're like, this is actually very Scorpio now as I'm getting into it. You are very just misunderstood by a lot of people. And if people actually got to know you and actually got to know your story and actually got to know where you've been and what you've had to deal with and the types of people and situations you actually have the power to transform and have transformed in your life, even through great sacrifice and suffering, they would be amazed. Like, people would be amazed and they would want to learn from you. I feel like they would want to learn from you and they would want to spend time with you. But I also feel like for you to be this thing, it's almost like you have to spend a lot of time on your own. You have to go it alone. You have to do that because that's how you get to have gotten to know yourself this well. That's how you get to know yourself this well. It's like you're almost giving me like a deity vibe. And I don't necessarily want to inflate anybody into like the level of, oh, I'm a deity, I'm a god, because I don't think that's helpful. But it gives me like the energy of a deity. Like when there's a deity in like Greek mythology, let's say, and they have a very specific role and purpose and they oversee like a very specific part of life. Like you just remind me of being somebody that's like that. Like you oversee, spirit has you doing a role, whether you're like this conscious to the point that you see it all the time or not. I think you just all are already being led by spirit all the time, and you might have glimpses of this, but spirit just has you in this role where you are used for like a very specific purpose often, and I don't think you even realize it. You might think your purpose in life is this one thing over here, or this template, or this thing that you've been chasing that everyone else is chasing, and you have this like mental cognitive idea of what it means to be successful or what it means to be happy and healthy or to be in your purpose, or maybe you're still seeking your purpose. But I feel like spirit wants to say like, no, you're already being used for a very interesting, potent purpose very often, like all the time in your daily life, and I don't think you're even noticing it. Like, it's almost like the greatest challenges you're going through in life right now, like that thing that's going on in your life that you're just like, oh my god, like I wish this would just end and stop. Like, why is this person around? Like, why is this happening? I think it's happening because it's part of your purpose. I think it's happening because there's something to do. I'm drawing a circle, a spiral on my table now here. Interesting. You cause the hurricane, right? I literally just drew a spiral like a hurricane. Okay, I got this image earlier today, like the eye of a, you are like the eye of your own storm. And it's sort of like you don't even realize it. It's almost like your own subconscious, like dark feminine energy that you are aware is there, but you're not always like fully like pulling out the dark feminine bad bitch energy like 24/7, but people feel it, and I think it has ripple effects that you don't even notice. Like it's almost like your being expands beyond just your human vessel, and the storm you create that you are like the center of and don't even realize happens like energetically beyond you, spiritually. This is so, where are we going, spirit? Because this is so fascinating. I feel like we're going down the rabbit hole now. How far are we going? But you're the eye here. I feel like you are the eye of the storm, and you have, again, like I said, that eerie serenity, the wise one on the surface. You're like this wise sage, and people know that you know a lot, and you have this magnetic, deep, dark depth to you. And that somehow anybody who crosses into the territory of trying to like exploit you or exploit your darkness ends up in this storm that is going on around. It's almost like your spirit, the way that your spiritual body is set up, the way that your spiritual structure is set up. This is getting so deep, y'all. Sorry, like deal with me. Oh, interesting. Okay, maybe some of you just need to say that, but also that's the vibe you also give, is like deal with me kind of thing. Like you have this like take it or leave it kind of vibe. Like that's just the energy you are. You just are that bitch. And you know it, but you're so wise and so kind. and so deep and so giving and have such an intense energy to you to create and give with, but you don't let people who come against you for things that are just you're just kind of like, deal with me, deal with it. Anyway, where we were going into this deep spiral, deep, deep, deep. This is very Scorpio. It's almost like your spiritual soul structure is set up that your energy expands so far beyond just you as like your individual human limit that you think you do. It's like your higher self in connection with your spirit guides and whoever's working with you on the spirit side. It's like a hurricane. It's like a storm. It's like a great storm. And you consciously here, especially awakened, like there were times I feel like in your life where you were like caught up in your own storm. Like you were caught up in the like getting whipped around by your own subconscious storm with other people involved. You just never realized that it was you. This is so interesting and like getting so deep. Okay, I need to stop saying that because we're just going with it. But you found your way somehow to the eye of the storm, aka like awakening, seeing things more clearly, being conscious over your choice to get involved in things versus like having this sovereignty and these boundaries and saying no and spending time in your own creative space and devoting to things that are life-giving rather than life-taking. And because of this, it's like you are the center. And this storm that's happening around you, it's almost like you had to step into the center of it in order for other people to finally see themselves clearly. Let's get into the tarot because, okay, I feel like that's where that's kind of the limit I'm feeling. I'm feeling like if I go beyond there, I'm going to start to get kind of murky. So let's get into the tarot to find out what Spirit really wants me to talk about here. You've essentially, though, you have found your way to the eye of this storm. Okay? The Tower. The Tower. And Judgment. Are you serious, y'all? Okay. The Tower and Judgment coming out. Okay. What did I just see under here? Okay, Ace of Cups. Chariot reverse. What's that? Ten of Swords reverse. Queen of Wands reverse. Okay, anyway. The Tower and Judgment. Come on. Okay, so yeah, you are like a walking tower. You're walking karma for the people who need tower moments, because some people in this life, you can talk all the love and light you want to them. You can be as kind as you want. You can be as hopeful as you want with them. But some people are so deep in their own karma, so deep in the momentum of darkness without being conscious of that darkness, that they need tower moments for balance to be restored. And I feel like you are this person, which is a sacred responsibility and role not to be taken lightly, because it's so easy to slip into your own darkness in these situations. But I feel that this is, again, why you're here. And if you resonate with the archetype of Scorpio, of Lilith, of Pluto, 4th, 8th, 12th houses, water sign, this is kind of your specialty. Like, you are walking judgment, but this is healing, because Judgment is also about healing. It's about, yes, judgment and fair judgment for the way someone has acted and for what they've done, again, in karmic law and in universal law. But it always heals. It always brings things back to balance. I heard something earlier saying, like, these people don't realize you're helping them in the grand scheme of it all. It might feel really debilitating. It might feel really intense, and it might hurt. And it might hurt for a while when these people have to face themselves around you, but you're helping them in the grand scheme because you're awakening them. You're breaking their egos. And it's not even like you're forcing it. It's just your presence is almost like spirit through you. You've gotten to this point where you're so tuned in with spirit and so one with the divine that spirit works through you and awakens people through you, whether they are ready or not, you know? And this, again, could be a very difficult place for you to be because I feel like you're very loving still. You're very, like, at the heart, you are still so deep and kind and vulnerable. And again, if you're connected to the divine, then you're connected to the divine. You know we're all one. You know of the Sacred Heart. You know this beauty. But you also have to be this hurricane. And you know that's also part of the play. You know that's also part of the experience of being here on earth. You know that's the experience of duality, and you know that just as much as we're all one and just as much as we're tuned into oneness, life is not always just kumbaya, right? Life has its moments and has its storms, and you know, who's going to play the part of the storm? It's not always like the bad person. Storms exist for very important reasons in nature. And there are storms that are here to clear the way for something new. Just like the tower, you know, the tower is kind of like seen as the villain, seen as the bad guy in a lot of ways. We don't like the tower, but the tower is actually one of our greatest allies. Because if there were no towers, balance would be thrown off. Everything would just get so top heavy and never collapse. It would just be like, it wouldn't even make sense. Reality wouldn't even make sense. Towers have to happen, hurricanes have to happen, storms have to happen, you know? And you've just found yourself at the eye. You've found yourself at the center. And I think this is a realization you're coming to, is that you are becoming more comfortable with this role, I think. And this reading might be pointing you towards that. Maybe you've already become more comfortable with this, or this is to point you in that direction. To be comfortable that you are the eye. And that you're there to observe, and you're also there to, this was the part I didn't get to earlier, you're there to invite people into the eye, okay? You are there to invite more people into the eye so that they can see things from a higher vantage point, so that they can see their own darkness, their own storms from the vantage point of the eye, like you do with yourself. And so that they can understand that they are the peace and they are the stillness of the eye, but they are also the deep, dark volcano and hurricane under the surface as well. We are all of it. We are both. And self-mastery is being able to observe both simultaneously and hold both at the same time and realize it's not about repressing one or the other or delving too deeply into one or the other. It's about being able to hold all of it. And this is what makes us just a weird, wild, beautiful, awesome, magnificent phenomenon of nature. That's a big reading for you. That's a big reading for you. Okay, I feel like that's that part complete. But I'm gonna keep going here because, listen, I got 2 more decks to get through in my little stack. What did we say at the beginning, you know? It's like you're locked and loaded, ready to go. You have that's part of what I'm getting now too. It's like, maybe it's not that you're necessarily planning things out or that you need to plan things out, but I feel like you are locked and loaded yourself. It's almost like you have this like order to you that is very just you. Confirmation burp. Double confirmation burp. Double rainbow. You have like for example, so I have this bag here with my tarot in it, and you can't see what's in it. People can't see what's inside the bag. Oh my god, this is such a synchronicity. Anyway, that's my own synchronicity. I have a synchronicity about bags. People can't see what's inside the bag. It's like you're a mystery bag to people, but you're locked and loaded. Like you literally have such an inquisitive. I almost want to say calculated too, but it's not menacing calculation. It's just smart, like intelligent. It's your makeup. And so I guess, yeah, we'll use the word calculated. We're reclaiming the word calculated here, okay? You have this calculated plan within yourself for how you like move through situations. You're able to calculate, you're able to decide, decipher, use your judgment here in a way that's positive for the best outcome. And you're locked and loaded. Like, you know the order of how things are going to go. You kind of like have your, what's the word for this? Anyway, I don't need to get too deep into it because you understand what I'm saying. It's like people are just surprised by how much resource you have inside, right? Because like I have multiple card decks with multiple themes and multiple different archetypes within them. I feel like people are just really surprised by how many different like archetypes and how much knowledge and how much wisdom of like deep wisdom into multiple different areas of life you have, and you just kind of like are able to just pull them out one after the other. And it's not like it's a trick either. It's like you genuinely have this, and people are just like, wait, hold on, like this side of them exists too? I thought they were just that thing, and I thought they might know a little bit about that, but and now they know this as well. And it's just, you amaze people, I feel like, with your depth and what's in that depth. And again, the reason you have this is because you've gone so deep. What did Carl Jung say? Like, in the shadow, some of our deepest, in the deep, unconscious of our shadow, some of our deepest and greatest treasures lie to be integrated. And this is, I feel, what exactly you have, and that's your reward for going so deep, is like you have deep knowledge, like deep esoteric, even occult knowledge, I want to say, but also practical knowledge. And you have knowledge on how to navigate all these different realms, and people are just, yeah, it's amazing. It really is. Tea. And I want to get an animal guide for you now. I want to see what animal wants to come through here to guide you forward in this, because now you know this is who you are. And it's pretty badass. You're like, yeah, just you scare your enemies, but you draw in people who are willing to and want to learn more. And so this makes you a cataclysmic leader and teacher and mirror and force of nature. Like I said, you are like, yeah, elk here, owl and deer. Okay, yeah, deer reverse though. So interesting. Okay, so the elk here is your main card that came out, and then the underlying energy is the owl, and then the deer reverse just under it popped out. So yeah, you're like this elk. You're like this really stable, firm, powerful being, right? Hooves on the ground. Like, you know how to lay down the law. You know how to like use your antlers, kind of thing. Back off, people, kind of thing. Respect me, please. That kind of thing. Don't play with me, please. That kind of thing. But underneath, you're also just like, and the elk there is in a very earthly way. Like, physically, you have a presence. Physically, people know not to mess with you. Physically, you know how to get things done. You are the founder. You have this city. Like, even if it doesn't necessarily reflect, you could be like a tiny person, right? But you have this big presence, and that could also be your guides around you too. Like, people can feel the power of your guides, your ancestors, just your energy and your aura in general. But you also have under the surface, as your underlying energy, this owl insight. Like, you're able to see clearly into other realms. You're able to see deep into people's intentions. You're able to see deep into people's hearts and souls. And I think what maybe you miss sometimes here is this deer, is that you are this deer. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you miss, or you don't see in yourself, or other people make you believe. So, we just talked about this big, scary, dark feminine energy here, right? And how powerful you are, and, but I don't think that you see or you take credit, or I don't think other people always tell you, or maybe they don't let you know because they're too prideful too, that you have this really, really soft, beautiful feminine energy within you as well. Not just this, intensity, but also this like soft, receptive, gentle nature to you. This very, again, regardless of gender, motherly, nurturing, intuitive side that people really feel, again, like I said, once people get past the sort of like the eye wall, the storm wall, where the storm is the most intense, and they cross into the eye where you actually are, where you are present, and where your presence actually is. When people are brave enough to cross that threshold, or when you deem somebody as worthy of entering the eye of the storm, they see a really, really beautiful, soft side of you. That's gentle and that would not hurt a fly, and that really just wants to be in that oneness, that sacred heart, right? That side of you that we talked about that's really vulnerable and that understands all is one. And all you want for all of life is this oneness and this togetherness and this just open heart and this full heart. And maybe in a lot of ways, this is what Spirit wants you to really look at next, because I feel you're really in touch with your darkness. I do. And I feel like you've been through a lot of really dark experiences in your life, and you've been forced to face it. And that kind of is like your warrior armor. You know how to put on the dark feminine. You know how to swing your sword. You know how to swing your sword. You know how to lay down the law here. But sometimes Spirit wants to say it's safe for you to just be the lighthouse, be the eye. The eye is not going anywhere. You are the eye. And all you have to do is be relaxed and restful in that. And know that the eye is also the heart, right? It's the center. The universe is this, right? There's a central heart, and all around that central heart is the chaos, the hurricane, the storm of existence, of life, of the cosmos. Spirit's just showing you that you've gotten to a point on your journey where you actually reflect this back in your own way. You reflect this deep truth of the universe in your way as a human being. Which, is that not the exact reason we're here? Is that not the journey of self-realization? Is that not the journey of enlightenment in a lot of ways? We've been having some big readings lately about this, about just this completion point and this seeing yourself point. And I think that's really what this is about, like seeing yourself clearly and how far you've come, and this is where you are. So with that, I want to pull from the last deck to close out this reading, because we're close. We're close to the end. And if you're in a storm in your life right now, well, you are, because you are the storm, just not in the way you think. Let's leave it at that. Oh, I love it. I love it. Spirit, what wants to come through as the last message? Oh, I love that. You're the perfect storm. Clearing. And grounded. Yep. Clearing. As true offering arises, it becomes easy to let go. You start to trust that more will always arrive. You shift from mine to God's. Such freedom. and grounded. Many of the most evolved beings on earth are regular folks living with joy, dignity, and courage. You are the storm that is clearing the way for something really beautiful to emerge. And Spirit just wants you to be grounded in this knowing. Like, this is why you're here. This is who you are. There's no changing it. There's no trying to avoid it or run from it, because the more you try to run from it and the more you avoid it, the more you get caught up in your own storm, right? You've come here with this intensity. You've come here with this deep, dark, I'm going to say it, deep, dark feminine power. Dark meaning just the subconscious. You have access to a deeper subconscious, I think, than a lot of people do. Again, if you relate to that Scorpio energy. And because of this, you kind of just have to accept it. You have to accept who you are. And Spirit wants you to be grounded in this. And to know this is your purpose. You're not wrong for it. You're not bad for it. And the right people watching this, you'll know if you know. You'll know if this reading's for you. You'll know if I'm speaking to you, because you'll feel this. You're not wrong for being this. You may have felt very wrong for being this way. And other people, even in the spiritual community, may have shunned you for it, may have thought that this isn't the right way to be. You know, you should be more love and light, right? But no, you're just real. You're real, and you embody real. You embody the real, raw power of nature that not everyone's always comfortable with. Because you mean death and rebirth. You mean transformation. So trust and know this is you. I love you so much. You're a beautiful soul. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. Again, all my other stuff, links in the description and my bio. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.